I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
What you just watched was your favorite Brock Lesnar openly insulting one of UFC's biggest sponsors right after winning one of the greatest matches of his career. And this wasn't the first or last time the Beast Incarnate did something wild that sparked massive backlash. As remember when he crashed Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration and mocked him live on air? Though not every off-script moment from Lesnar was negative, since there were times he broke character to genuinely help fellow wrestlers, and now we take a deep dive into some of Brock Lesnar's most controversial moments. Beginning with an incident that shook the UFC to its core on July 11, 2019, at UFC 100, one of the most anticipated nights in mixed martial arts history, when Brock Lesnar stepped into the octagon for a rematch against Frank Mir, with fans eager to see who would come out on top. Yet what happened after the fight would overshadow the victory itself, as still fueled by adrenaline. Lesnar used his post-fight interview to make a shocking statement that no one saw coming. He openly insulted one of UFC's biggest sponsors.
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
The audacity of Brock Lesnar's statement left everyone in shock, as it was a direct slap in the face to one of UFC's biggest sponsors, delivered with the fearless confidence only Lesnar could muster, and the reactions were immediate. With UFC President Dana White looking visibly stunned and officials rushing to contain the fallout. Yet while that moment was just an insult, the next controversy tied to Lesnar was far darker, as the wrestling world was soon shaken by the Vince McMahon sexual trafficking scandal, one of the most disturbing chapters in professional wrestling history, where Brock Lesnar's name unexpectedly surfaced in allegations that left fans and insiders reeling, revolving around Vince McMahon, the powerful WWE chairman, accused of attempting to traffic a woman named Janelle Grant to Lesnar, with reports suggesting McMahon coerced Janelle into creating explicit material meant for Lesnar, hoping it would lure him back to WWE. Believing that Lesnar's return would skyrocket ratings and bring massive revenue. And to fully grasp the seriousness of these allegations, we need to revisit Lesnar's career timeline after his initial successful WWE run, as he left WWE in 2004 to explore new opportunities, including a short stint in the NFL and a highly successful run in mixed martial arts, before making his dramatic return to WWE in 2012, stepping back into the spotlight with intense rivalries and high-profile matches that reminded fans why he was called the Beast Incarnate. Despite the controversy surrounding his name at times, one thing that always kept people talking was Brock Lesnar's unmistakable chest tattoo, as few moments sparked as much conversation as his infamous sword tattoo, a design some found questionable in shape and placement, which according to Lesnar symbolizes a dark and difficult period in his life when he felt a sword constantly hanging over his head, representing the immense pressure and uncertainty he faced, and serving as a permanent reminder of the struggles he overcame. Yet the public saw it differently, with many fans noticing its unusual design and creating countless jokes and memes suggesting it resembled something far more explicit than a sword. And the controversy erupted almost immediately after Lesnar revealed it, with social media divided, some appreciating its bold symbolism, while others couldn't get past its peculiar appearance, though at least Brock wasn't accused of racism over it, as that controversy came from his words instead, with one particular remark about his genetics triggering a storm of backlash and accusations of racism. This controversy began during a 2009 feature interview with Maxim magazine, when Lesnar was at the peak of his physical dominance, as he tried to explain the source of his incredible athletic ability, but ended up making statements that would follow him for years, claiming his success came from his genetics, saying he had passed dozens of drug tests and never needed steroids, crediting his body to natural gifts. Yet the backlash erupted when he added that he was built like a black man, implying not everyone was created equal, a line many found deeply offensive and racially insensitive, and as if that weren't enough. Lesnar soon faced another wave of criticism over alleged homophobic remarks, as during SummerSlam 2016 tensions exploded backstage after his match with Randy Orton, when Chris Jericho, known for his fiery personality, confronted Lesnar over what he believed were dangerously stiff elbow shots to Orton's head, escalating into a heated exchange where reports claimed Lesnar made homophobic comments, further fueling his reputation for crossing the line both inside and outside the ring. With the brutal match leaving fans shocked and putting Orton's health at serious risk, while backstage tensions reached a breaking point, and Lesnar, known for his intimidating presence and short temper, reportedly threw homophobic slurs at Jericho, making the situation worse. Despite the massive size difference, Jericho didn't back down, as fueled by anger and concern for Orton's safety, he stood his ground and even threatened to bite Lesnar's nose off, with the altercation becoming one of the most talked about backstage incidents in modern WWE history, showing just how explosive things can get when pride, emotion, and raw aggression collide behind the curtain.
got into a little bit of an issue, and I was like, this guy, I don't give a how big he is. Like, I don't care. That's wrong. And I will fight to the death. If I will stand up for what I believe in to the death. And I remember being like literally nose to nose with the guy, and he's laughing, and he's like, he was actually saying things that would probably get him canceled if I said them to him now. Like homophobic terms that you shouldn't be saying. And I was like,
how did that make you feel?
I was like, I'm gonna bite his nose off. I'm gonna bite his nose.
The explosive confrontation between Lesnar and Jericho was eventually diffused by Triple H and Vince McMahon, who stepped in before things could escalate further. Yet not all of Brock Lesnar's off-script moments were chaotic or angry, as one instance revealed a completely different side of the Beast, showing his professionalism and willingness to help others shine, which happened during a match with Drew McIntyre in early 2020. During the build-up to WrestleMania 36, when Drew was being positioned as WWE's next major star and a match against Lesnar was seen as the ultimate test to cement his place at the top, and as the bout unfolded, Lesnar wasn't just focused on his own dominance, but paid close attention to McIntyre's moment, even breaking character to remind him to pick up the championship belt, ensuring the scene played out perfectly and that Drew came out looking strong. A rare glimpse of Brock's respect for the business and fellow wrestlers. Yet our next story takes us to the other extreme, to what many consider one of the most shocking events in WWE history, when The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak came to a shocking end in 2014. On April 6, 2014, fans packed the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans for a night of unforgettable matches, with one of the most anticipated being the clash between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, a battle that felt larger than life as The Undertaker's WrestleMania record stood at an astonishing 21-0, a streak many believed would never be broken. And the match itself was a brutal war of endurance, with both men delivering and absorbing punishing blows. The Undertaker fighting with heart and determination despite his age and the physical toll of his legendary career, while Lesnar unleashed his trademark power and aggression, seemingly intent on achieving the impossible. And as the fight wore on, it became clear Lesnar was in control, delivering 2 crushing F5s, yet The Undertaker, known for his superhuman resilience, kept kicking out, refusing to let his legacy fall without a fight. Until the moment that would change wrestling history forever, when Lesnar delivered a third and final F5, the referee's hand hit the matone, 2, 3, and the unthinkable happened. The Undertaker's legendary undefeated WrestleMania streak was over. For a moment, the entire arena fell silent, with fans frozen in shock, unable to process what they had just witnessed, as the streak that had defined decades of wrestling history had been broken by Brock Lesnar. Yet he didn't stop there, as on the very next night. April 7th, 2014, during Monday Night Raw, he and his manager Paul Heyman took to the ring to rub salt in the wound, with Heyman, ever the master of provocation, boasting about Lesnar's historic victory, calling it the ultimate conquest, a slaughter of The Undertaker's legendary streak, and the duo reveled in the chaos they had caused, proudly declaring Brock Lesnar as the man who conquered The Undertaker and changed the course of WrestleMania history forever.
But Brock wasn't done until the streak was dead.
For a moment, the entire arena fell silent, with fans frozen in shock, unable to process what they had just witnessed, as the streak that had defined decades of wrestling history had been broken by Brock Lesnar. Yet he didn't stop there, as on the very next night. April 7th, 2014, during Monday Night Raw, he and his manager Paul Heyman took to the ring to rub salt in the wound, with Heyman, ever the master of provocation, boasting about Lesnar's historic victory, calling it the ultimate conquest, a slaughter of The Undertaker's legendary streak, and the duo reveled in the chaos they had caused, proudly declaring Brock Lesnar as the man who conquered The Undertaker and changed the course of WrestleMania history forever. Then, instead of continuing their violent exchange, both legends broke character, smirking and laughing at each other in a surreal, almost cinematic moment that perfectly captured the unpredictable magic of professional wrestling. As Lesnar's face broke into a wide grin and The Undertaker, known for his dark and intimidating presence, couldn't help but laugh back, with the arena erupting in cheers and laughter as fans witnessed this completely unexpected exchange between two of wrestling's most fearsome rivals, even leaving commentators struggling to find the right words, a rare, genuine moment reminding everyone how unpredictable wrestling could be. Yet almost as surprising was another unforgettable incident. When Brock Lesnar crashed Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration live on Monday Night Raw, an unscripted and controversial segment that embarrassed Hogan and sparked real tension between the two icons, creating a moment fans would talk about for years, which took place on August 11th, 2014. During a special episode of Raw honoring Hogan's birthday, As the arena buzzed with energy with WWE legends and current superstars gathered to celebrate one of the industry's biggest names, Hogan standing in the ring soaking in the applause until the familiar sound of Brock Lesnar's entrance music hit. In an instant, the joyful atmosphere turned tense as Lesnar, accompanied by his advocate Paul Heyman, made his way to the ring with a cold, menacing glare, and once inside, he grabbed a microphone and made his intentions crystal clear, smirking at Hogan and saying, "Party's over, Grandpa," causing the crowd to gasp and Hogan's smile to quickly turn to anger, with tension escalating fast until John Cena rushed in and challenged Lesnar to a fight, forcing the Beast to retreat, and by now it was clear that Lesnar had a habit of going off script, sometimes leading to pure comedy instead of chaos, as one of the funniest examples occurred when he completely broke character during a live segment with R-Truth, usually seen as a stoic, intimidating powerhouse who rarely shows emotion beyond aggression. But in January 2020 on Monday Night Raw, while delivering a classic promo with Paul Heyman to hype his upcoming Royal Rumble entry, R-Truth grabbed the microphone and hilariously misinterpreted the situation, claiming he was entering the Royal Rumble to face Paul Heyman, not Brock Lesnar, and the absurdity of his confusion had the entire audience laughing, even causing Lesnar, famous for his stone-faced demeanor, to crack a smile. He broke character completely, bursting into genuine laughter in front of the live crowd while Heyman stood beside him, equally caught off guard by R-Truth's unexpected antics, and the real magic happened when the camera focused on Brock Lesnar. As for a brief moment, the Beast Incarnate couldn't hold his trademark stern expression. His face broke into a wide grin, and he laughed at R-Truth's hilarious antics, a rare and genuine moment fans still remember fondly. Yet not every unforgettable Lesnar moment came from humor, as some were downright embarrassing. Like in 2016 when Brock Lesnar faced Goldberg at Survivor Series, with the WWE Universe buzzing in anticipation for a rematch of their infamous WrestleMania 20 encounter, a bout that had disappointed fans when both men left WWE shortly after. And over a decade later, Goldberg returned on October 17th, declaring he had one more spear and one more jackhammer left in him. Lesnar, never one to back down, accepted the challenge through Paul Heyman. And when the bell rang, Goldberg charged with incredible speed, delivering a thunderous spear that sent Lesnar crashing to the mat, followed seconds later by another spear, leaving Lesnar dazed before Goldberg lifted him for a devastating jackhammer that ended the match almost instantly. Goldberg finished the match with his signature jackhammer, and the referee's hand hit the mat. 1, 2, 3, signaling the end. As in under 90 seconds, Goldberg had defeated Brock Lesnar, leaving the WWE Universe in absolute shock. Yet though Lesnar lost this encounter, he bounced back with a display of sheer dominance in his next legendary match, the squash match against John Cena at SummerSlam 2014, a night still remembered by fans for the overwhelming brutality Lesnar displayed. Riding high off the momentum of ending The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak earlier that year, facing John Cena, WWE's face and a 15-time world champion, for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and from the opening bell, it was clear this would not be a typical championship match, as Lesnar immediately took control, unleashing a relentless series of German suplexes that left Cena powerless on the mat, with commentators Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and John Bradshaw Layfield stunned and struggling to articulate the one-sided destruction, JBL famously shouting, "This is a mauling." And Lesnar continued his merciless assault until finally pinning Cena to secure a decisive victory, further cementing his reputation as the most dominant force in WWE, and setting the stage for his next colossal showdown with Roman Reigns. As the build-up to WrestleMania 31 was packed with high-stakes drama and intense rivalries, none more prominent than the clash between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, with Lesnar, the reigning champion, riding a wave of dominance, while Reigns was being positioned as WWE's next top star. And as WrestleMania approached, tensions between the two reached a boiling point, culminating in a segment on the March 23, 2015 episode of Monday Night Raw that became infamous, intended to heighten anticipation for their clash, but instead becoming one of the most mocked and criticized moments in WWE history, as Lesnar and Reigns engaged in a literal tug-of-war over the championship belt, and the image of two grown men, both portrayed as fierce competitors, struggling over a title like children fighting over a toy, drew immediate backlash, with what was meant as a dramatic showdown coming off as childish and farcical. Yet Lesnar's aggression was never in question, with one memorable example occurring when he targeted the group known as 3MBA, Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Mahal, typically portrayed as a comedic trio far from the main event scene, who on the April 15, 2013 episode of Monday Night Raw found themselves facing a level of destruction they were completely unprepared for, and the crowd erupted, sensing chaos was about to unfold. Lesnar, flanked by his advocate Paul Heyman, stormed to the ring with pure determination etched on his face. While the trio of 3MBB tried to put on a brave front, it was obvious they were hopelessly outmatched, and what followed was a brutal, relentless assault as Lesnar dismantled Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal with a non-stop series of suplexes, F5s, and vicious strikes, leaving them in a crumpled heap. And though some fans thought his aggression excessive, it was far from the last time he unleashed his fury on weaker opponents, as his wrath famously extended beyond the ring, targeting WWE commentators and cameramen in moments of pure chaos. Like on the March 30th, 2015 episode of Monday Night Raw, when enraged after losing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31, Lesnar stormed the ring demanding a rematch, and when his demands were ignored, his anger boiled over, attacking anyone in his path, including commentator Michael Cole, whom Lesnar grabbed by the neck and slammed with a devastating F5, then turning his rage on the rest of the production crew, delivering F5 after F5 to anyone nearby, until Stephanie McMahon stepped in to suspend him. Yet even that didn't immediately curb his rampage, cementing his reputation as an unstoppable force both inside and outside the ring.
Brock, your actions have consequences, and you know what? You're out of here. You're suspended.
Paul Heyman, ever the opportunist, used the chaos to further cement Brock Lesnar's image as an uncontrollable force of nature, with one of his most controversial displays coming at SummerSlam 2016 when Lesnar faced Randy Orton in a match that left fans stunned. As fresh off his victory over Mark Hunt at UFC 200, Lesnar entered the ring with his signature intensity, immediately taking control and delivering a relentless series of suplexes to Orton, while the crowd watched in awe as the Beast Incarnate dominated. But Orton, the 12-time world champion, fought back with his trademark moves, keeping the match competitive, and just as it seemed the bout was heading toward a thrilling finish, Lesnar removed his gloves and unleashed a series of vicious elbows to Orton's forehead, causing a deep gash, leaving him bleeding heavily. And the match was stopped with Lesnar declared the winner, yet Lesnar's rivalries were far from over, as his 2016 feud with Dean Ambrose leading up to WrestleMania 32 became one of the most violent and hard-hitting rivalries in recent WWE history, with fans packing AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, eagerly anticipating the showdown between the Beast Incarnate and the Lunatic Fringe. And as the match began, Ambrose tried to use his speed and agility to outmaneuver Brock Lesnar, but the bout quickly devolved into a violent brawl. Lesnar, with his raw power and relentless aggression, took control early, delivering a series of German suplexes that left Ambrose reeling. And though Ambrose brought an array of weapons into the match, including kendo sticks, steel chairs, and even a chainsaw, the extreme violence only highlighted the intensity of their rivalry. And despite his best efforts, Ambrose endured a relentless beating from Lesnar, who ultimately disarmed him and executed a devastating F5 onto a pile of steel chairs to secure a decisive victory. While another notable moment in Lesnar's career came with the Beast in the East special in July 2015 at the Ryogoku Kokugikan in Tokyo, Japan broadcast live on the WWE Network on July 4th, featuring Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston, with Kingston, a fan favorite known for his high-flying style and agility, seen as a clear underdog against the Beast Incarnate. And as fans filled the arena eager to witness the spectacle, the match turned out to be a short and one-sided affair, as Lesnar immediately dominated, overwhelming Kingston with sheer strength and aggression, executing a German suplex followed by an F5 within minutes to secure a quick and decisive victory, leaving fan reactions mixed, some thrilled by Lesnar's dominance, others disappointed by the match's brevity and perceived lack of effort. Yet Lesnar's brutal attacks weren't the only things defining him, as that wraps up the wild and chaotic moments of Brock Lesnar's career. But his controversies extended beyond the ring and into his contracts. One of the most debated aspects of Brock Lesnar's WWE career has been his part-time schedule, as unlike other superstars who perform regularly on weekly shows and live events, Lesnar's appearances were limited to major pay-per-views and select episodes of Monday Night Raw, an arrangement that sparked heated discussion among fans, fellow wrestlers, and critics. Beginning in 2012, when Lesnar returned to WWE after an 8-year hiatus with a contract allowing him to work a limited number of dates, focusing primarily on high-profile matches and marquee events, and while this setup was financially beneficial for both Lesnar and WWE, it became a point of contention. As for fans, his infrequent appearances were a double-edged sword, with each appearance feeling like a special event that added to his mystique and drew massive attention. Yet many were frustrated by his absence from weekly programming, the lack of consistent storylines, and the perception that Lesnar was primarily motivated by money rather than commitment to the product.